Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're going to be taking a look at 17's track, I'm A, but it's done live at one of their Japanese concerts. I believe it's in Tokyo based on the context. And I'm pretty excited about this. I had no clue that they released this until I actually did a full music video marathon of all of 17's music videos. And somebody was like, oh, Jessica, there's a song that we forgot, and it was I'm A. So we're going to be taking a look here and looking at the dancing, because for me as a dance analyst, it is really enjoyable for me to see their entire movement quality, how it started to where it is now, because like I said, I've seen so much of 17's movement quality, so I'm very familiar with it. And it's been a hot minute since I've actually taken a look at one of their dances, because I've looked at all of it prior to now, so it's kind of cool. So I think without further ado, let's go ahead and start. That stage is huge. Also, the flowers behind them look like icing, like when you go to a bakery. I would like to eat all of them. This is fun. I gotta turn it up. Oh, cute. How fun. This is definitely a much more chill track. I actually like the track a lot as well. It's encouraging, it feels empowering, but also it's like a little mix of like an energetic darling almost, mixed with a little bit of Yepuda. So I think it's a nice little, it feels like a little hybrid track, which I'm very much a fan of. I like it. Really nice on the formations. I do know it does, I think I only counted 12. So S-Coops is still recuperating. Sorry. But I think I can name everybody except for maybe one or two people, which I feel very good about. Will I guess now? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much of a gamble I'm willing to take today. We'll see. This is cute. That little bit right there was really cute. Love the dancers joining in. They get to go out to the sides. Ah, confetti! I think it is interesting though that they did go to the side. Maybe for the confetti cannons, not quite sure with that. Very subtle, it's cute, refined choreo. Oh, we're not done yet. We're still going. Fan service is coming our way. I love that energy right here. Oh, it's good. Was this the ending? This felt very ending finale-esque, almost. Cute. I like the fact that they ended on a Japanese track for their Japanese audience. It feels very intentional. And because it's a new track, I think that makes sense as well. And a photo time. Nothing screams of photo time. Here's those freaking effects again, man. Ugh, bless it. Okay. Initial thoughts, I definitely like this because whenever you look over the span of their entire choreography, just catalog of movement, with all of their, like most of their tracks, their Japanese tracks, there's always something about it that really feels home-like, you know, or it feels very, you know, it gives that kind of energy, which I really like. And also seeing here, it did feel like it was more of a finale. And based on the type of choreo, I mean, why not, you know? So let's go ahead and go from the top and talk about it. So I do only count 12 members. I do know S-Coop is still recovering from, I believe he was an ACL, something like that, which is not a very easy injury to navigate with. So I'm very thankful that he is in good hands. I know we will see him in the future for sure. And I did find a lot of humor in the music video of God of Music where he was on a hospital bed. I liked the vibe of that. It gave a lot of the energy that they bring to the table. It's really fun. Now, having them start, it's nice where each one is kind of like coupled up to a sense, and then having them all move. Now, all of our dancers are kind of hanging out in the back. They're getting ready. Nice little huddle to start. More like a game time, but very much like that. Now, a little bit of a sturdy to get the party going. So with this, if you don't know, a sturdy actually derives from originally the woo walk, which was from Pop Smoke. This is something that from another analysis I had the pleasure of diving a little bit into. So I'll save you that. But it is really fun to see that in this sense almost, because when you think about the type of track this is, it does give off, you could hear this on a Pump It Up catalog, it gives off that energy. And 17, I've heard of 17 from some of their music being on a Pump It Up machine, so I feel like this would be a really great one to just add to their update. Pump it up, please. But I would say like it's really nice and full energy. Notice that it's more full, the usage of the legs to help with the spreading out, but it showcases energy, and I really do like that as a start. Switching through, they switch through, go to the other side. Now, I would call this an ambidextrous groove. Now, where you do a groove on both sides, it does make it come across simpler because it feels like it's more practical to do. Because we even know whenever we write our names or we write, it is hard to write with both sides. But if you notice, whenever we're able to do things on both sides, we're able to see the practicality of it, or the ability to replicate is kind of like a universal, assumed kind of educated guess we bring. You know, if it feels that familiar that we can execute something on both sides because we understand the case of being dominant on a side, that can make movements like this, like doing the sturdy on both sides, really gives the energy of it's fun, communal, but also simpler in movement. Even if the movement is not simple, it feels like we can do it too. Does that make sense? And it contributes to the communal kind of vibe that they're giving off at the forefront of this. I do like having this with one of them being facing front, everybody facing the back, looking. They do have a moment where they do a little conga, not conga line, but like a little a line, and they kind of travel it. I think that's my favorite part of the whole thing because it's really fun, it's gimmicky, but there's really subtle isolations with the head that really help tie the verse together. Now having, I believe this is, I'm going to say safe guess, this is Hoshi, and he's kind of conducting, which is allowing everybody to kind of respond or have their body respond based on what he's doing. I like going forward, we go down, da-da-da-da-da, really like that. Stability check, bringing it through, do-do-do-do, a lot of footwork. I think that's another thing that kind of promotes this to make it feel very Pump It Up-esque, is because that type of machine, it's a rhythm game for your feet, and so that's why when I see a lot of footwork with a song like this, with the BPM and the type of tone it is, it gives off, I want to play a step chart to the song. And I think that's what it slides in, the step, tap step, and then they bring it back through. Love it. Boom, this feels like World, right? It gives off that energy. I think they did this situation to that song. Yeah, so I feel like this could be like a song that would be puzzle pieced with that one in particular. Now having this peel, D, I would say we were just a little bit off right here, but nothing crazy. It's just a simple step out. No one's gonna critique them for that. Now this part right here, I like how they're doing just a lot of subtlety. So they're not just walking, they're adding things and contributing to who is singing, which I like. My guess would be, I like that part there with the head and drop. Picking up the feet, ding, ding, and a ding, ding. It makes it feel more playful, you know, more, what is it? Animal Crossing, maybe? Not Animal Crossing, but it gives off that kind of adventure, but like that childlike wonder adventure, almost. Bringing it through. Okay, my guess would be that does look like DK. I could be wrong. Remember, I'm going off of blurry faces here, so I'm taking a serious stab at this today. I did say this, just like I have a Where's Waldo with every group, my Where's Waldo for this group is Mingyu, because I realized very late in the To Us's in their full story prologue, I actually found Mingyu, but then I got him wrong again, even though he was right next to the guy I said was Mingyu. And so I apologize once again for that. I believe this is Mingyu right here. So that's my guess. If I'm really gonna like try to have a guess, it's gonna be for that individual. No, I can never win, right? So I do like the choice of having the levels represented, having your 3 at the top, then having everybody else facing opposite ways, but kind of dragging the hand through and allowing them to do a little lunge action. I think it's very fun, and they create the energy, and it kind of feels like an ebb and a flow, which I like, and it feels great pacing for a track like this. Nice little promote, like they didn't just kick, they actually tapped a little bit with the hand over at the top of the knee. Really fun choice. Notice here, head, boom. So everyone's kind of doing it, but they were doing it kind of their own little way. Also note, remember, when I do like an analysis to a certain degree, I want it to be this is most of the time, most things that I look at are pretty amazing, you know? And so finding what makes them awesome, but also suggestions of how to make them even more awesome in the future is really kind of my goal. So it's never this sucks. I don't think I've really ever seen a routine where I'm like, that's the worst thing I've seen today. I really don't feel that way. Because there's always beauty in everything you watch. Always. You just got to know where to look. Here, I love this. It's really not hard to find what's good in this routine, personally. I do know how much heavy hitting in their discography they have in a choreographic sense, and I know that this is one of the more tame routines that they can do live. And I think this one is probably very playful for them, and they're able to do a lot but also enjoy their time on stage because they're not thinking so much about making sure they have proper pacing with lung capacity mixed with the fullness of their energy. And so I'm appreciative that we're able to have a routine like this to enjoy alongside them. So having this here, I like that choice where they're here, they branch the arms up and back down, they switch through. I like how he lifts the hand and it causes everybody to lift up or cause a mini jump and transition. That was nice. We built it through. Now we do know with 17 they do a very good job on being clean together. There was a couple instances in that transition that maybe some of the range was a little off, but when you look at big picture, they are very consistent and they do a great job holding it down as members. Now, another guess that I will make here, this appears to be Sung Kwan, so I'm going to take my guess there. I think this is the 8. Is this Joshua? He's a very new one that I have had the pleasure of finding recently. I think Vernon is here. I think Dino's here. Woozy is here. And then there are others. I know there are others. There's a June somewhere here. There's others. I know there is. So we will keep finding them slowly together. Maybe in like a cleaner dance practice would be nice. But notice even here, they're dipping it down, having a moment on both sides. Once again, promotes a sense of community, promotes a sense of like, you know, whenever you see like the grapevine from one side to another, it feels like, hey, join us. Like it gives us people an opportunity to process the information and allow it seen done on both sides. So it can give that sense of interaction. I like that slide down and slide up. Going through, they have a moment. Now we did see a little action happening here. I think that was a bit playful. That was funny. dropping down, and you saw the fans also saw it. They go, new feature here, very, very nice flamboyant red choice for him. I think it's great. Notice the level representation. We have lower dancers, like performers, but then we also have those that are on the higher end here. And they do a good job of staying symmetrical. And I do know we are missing a member, so this would slightly change once you have all 13 and not just 12. But they are doing a very nice job nonetheless. I mean, I'm assuming this would be where your front center is. And if you're going 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's your 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's also centered, so you have like 2 people centered. So, I mean, it's pretty balanced for the most part. I would say maybe one person is an outlier and on stage left, but it's not, I don't think that's a big enough concern for us to be like, oh, this is not balanced. It works great, you know, because for me, they do a good job framing it towards the inside and then panning it out and a nice speed change going to the outside. And this right here, I like how you have, this is Vernon. I think I've already named him. So we're here, boom, da-doon. Really, really like that energy. Pulling it back is great. It's subtle. Sliding it down, da-da-da. So it feels very, I do know, Dino, Kimini, Last Dance. See. Hold on, I think there's like a whole little thing over on the side. Interesting, sorry. Yeah, so I feel that we have, if you look over here, I think I noticed something. This looks like a monitor where they could be seeing the words to help them. They got a lot of songs, and I mean, as nice as it would be to remember every word, I don't know if they do. Great question. That'll be something to ask them. If you're like, hey, do you actually remember all your songs? They may be like, I don't know. I know some groups, I think BTS is an example of they don't remember some of the albums that some of their songs come off of. That's life, you know, that's okay. So yeah, this is Dino in the front. Really fun, great chorus. They are taking a more unison approach. They do have a lot of subtleties, so they do have some mirroring. They have that switch around, just like what we saw with your 1-point feature. Having everybody go around, party, to transition. Having everybody move except for your feature. That always works very well, because if you have the absence of movement in comparison to everybody else moving, you're naturally going to want to look at what's not moving, or the outlier of, you know, what's happening in the entire formation. And so they've always done a great job with that. It's been very fun to see. Bringing it through. Last dance. Yep, and switching it up. Nice little breath moment here. And they're actually allowed to breathe too. A nice little syncopation of the lower half of the body. Yeah, ding, diddy, diddy, right there. Nice little tap taps. And slide through. That, yeah, I don't know if I guessed him. I think that is DK, right? There's your sturdies once again. I think in my center. If I were to take a guess, I'm not going to guess. I was going to guess and then I refrained. I don't want to be wrong. I'll feel bad. Yep, switching it through once again. Setting what's down. Yeah. So all of this we've kind of already seen. That matches. Really nice. So I would say that's a pretty safe Easter egg from what we see in Worlds, because I think the world is here. And I forgot if that's a Japanese track. It could be. I know they have a couple trickled out. I know Happy Ending is one, 24 Hours is one, Fallen Flower is one, this one. There's a couple that I can't pronounce because they're only in Japanese, so that's my apologies. And then maybe Worlds. I don't know. But anyway, all of them are fun though. I really like that peel out. I forgot to even mention that. My apologies. So notice how DK, he kind of extends down and creates this nice little hinge moment and allows everybody to create a peel out coming from the center and expanding out. Very nice and enjoyable. Now, what's cool is that you have somebody in the back and they're creating symmetry here by having Sun Kwang hang out in the back, even though you have somebody up at the front. So you can allow the balance to take place between what's about to happen in this formation. Going down, ranging it through, dropping it down, waving it through. Love that energy. Nice hand extensions, have our guys from the outside. And notice there's 3 levels represented. You have kneeling, then you have kind of like squatting, and then you have more of a standing position. So that's how you can tier that up a little bit more. It also looks like we're having a side conversation over here, which I find to be very funny. Talk about multitasking, you know, I'm here for it. It's pretty good. It really feels that way. I don't know though, because their mics are hot, so they could very well not be. But I like how they bleed him back in. Different feature, I believe, right? Yeah, I totally missed how he went back in the formation, but you still have somebody center. So it's actually really nice. It does come across more complex than just a simple V, but they did this most likely in order to maintain symmetry and balance between the two sides. And also looking, I'm assuming this is our center. I can't quite scope out. They do look pretty symmetrical, because if you go off for the comparison of where they're finishing in the formation, even though we're a bit offset, this is how you can tell if a group is centered even if you are not centered, is you use the surroundings. So here, this would be your center, right? And then here, yeah, they have pretty much 1, 2, 3 on this side, and then 1, 2, 3 on this side. So potentially, I mean, you're looking at one of my guys is in line and he's slightly in front. So maybe this line is a little bit offset, you know, some of the spacing on this side, but nothing crazy. I think it's very minimal. And for a live performance, it's always impressive. Never discredit the impressiveness of doing a live performance, because they're not just doing one routine, they're doing like 17 routines or something like that. They're doing a lot of songs. Having this is really fun. You do notice, because they're in kind of a column line, but they don't have any references. It is tricky to kind of maintain the column. So we do notice one of them kind of hanging out in the back a little bit more. So that would be my little suggestion, to kind of make sure that those shoulders are in line a little bit cleaner, just so regardless of where we are in the arena, we're able to see this formation nice and clearly. But you can see it for the most part. It's fun for him to have his moment. Everybody bows down like what we saw. Goes through and they go ha da da. It's probably a wordplay thing. I'm definitely a fan. This is really fun. And I like how they switch it out. New moment. Yep, really fun to see that there. And then they switch it over with the heel toe heels. Dancers have joined the chat. I think it's because after the routine concludes, that's what makes me think that this is our finale, because it looks like they're saying, hey, you know, please give it up for our dancers. I don't know quite the translation. That is okay. Just based on context of action, it gives off that energy. But I love that they have this moment. Nice little body roll. The dancers have joined in. They're walking over to the side. For me, I was expecting them to do more fan service waving, saying hi, which I think they are. But then you have one of them there. Then you have your dancers surround. Then, of course, they're kind of framing. Honestly, I really do appreciate the cleanliness of this circular formation they did. Over here, that it does feel a little bit more clumped. So it is nice for him to kind of just have that moment right there. We have that sturdy, reintegrated once again, kicking through. Now we come and give them right back. I think that's the one thing I think I'm not 100% clear on. Were they over to the side to allow the confetti cannons to shoot? Possibly. Or I thought mostly they were going over to say hi to fans and giving the dancers a moment to kind of shine. It could be that too. I'm not quite sure about the logistical choice about having everybody except one of your members stand there. It also could be a wordplay thing. And then having them come back on. It did feel a little bit... it was just an interesting choice, I think. But it's not even a critique. It's just I want to learn more as to why they made that choice, because I feel like it's a logistic reason. Because normally you don't see them make those types of choices that don't have that kind of intention behind it. And once again, having one of them and they turn around, they have this moment right here. This does remind me of, I think it was Weed and Boys from Street Man Fighter. They had their, I love you. Different, that one. It was their Cheers performance in the finale, and they had this little moment with the little photo in the top. And I do know they probably have projections for a concert like this that may be helping contribute to the aesthetic of what's happening on stage, but we're here for the dance practice or the dancing. Look, they have their moment. They have a little gap right here. I don't know if it's for Vernon or if it's for S-Coops. It could be. I love the intention though of having that space made. Those would be when those places, you know, if there's like obvious formation, it does give the appearance that S-Coop is supposed to be there. So we're going to put him in here. Let's give him a little top hat just for fun's sake and his eyeballs. And let's have him smile. And let's have him hug his friends as well. He's a little bit on the shorter. Let's extend his legs so he can actually touch the ground. And fill in his little top hat. Wonderful. And he needs to match all the other members, so he's going to be in white. Maybe black. I don't know. He disappeared. All that to say, S-Coops was there because we just drew him in. But I love the gap represented. It's very clear. And that part right there is what reminded me of Whedon Boys, because they did that because one of their members got enlisted in the military during the season. So that's why I say that. I love it. I love the peel around going from back to front. It is slightly different than going from front to back, like what they've done for the other peel arounds. Very much appreciate that. They run, they go down, up, creating a moment, having your next feature. They all come in, dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee. Love that. Dee-dee-dee. And they're frozen, and they're happy, which makes me happy to see them happy. End of the concert, they could be happy in the sense of, we did it, our final track is done, because there is beauty in the relief of we accomplished a successful concert, but there's also a, oh, I want to be on stage forever. Like, it's a really interesting kind of, not a tussle, but it does feel that way. Regardless of how large or small scale it is, a lot of artists feel that way, just based on commentary I've heard, not just from this group, but from other artists, because a lot of artists do have behind the scenes and like how they feel when they perform. So many interviews out there. Guys, the internet is a mess, and you can learn so much about an artist's perspective, just in general. So I know for them, they probably like very, very much enjoy performing in front of their fans, and I think for them to be able to do a Japanese track for the Japanese fan base, I think probably means a lot to them as well as to the fan base, which I always find joy on. So having them all split, can we talk about the beauty of having them split evenly? Love it. They're announcing, it feels like they're announcing the dancers, and I like the fact that the dancers have their own personality. Hashtag shout out to the head before we're right back here. Cheers. I love it. They're applauding, and then they're also saying hi to everybody. Really nice. The dancers are there. Thank you. And so and I also like the consideration of everybody bowing to all of the areas, right? So I think the only thing this way, truly that way, is going to be your stage. But everything else is like you got fans and fans and fans. You got so many fans hanging out. I love it. That's amazing. So many people are there. That's amazing. And they all come in. Looks like they're about to finish. Confetti's been thrown, and they're about to take a photo. And smile time. Cheers. Happy. Blackout. We Gucci. That looks like a really enjoyable concert, and I bet all of them are wild in a different way. Not wild and like crazy things happen, but probably like wild of just the impressiveness of them being able to execute a lot of their choreography. This one's fun, but it's not nearly as difficult as some of their other ones that I've seen and analyzed that I know that they do live because it's on their lineup. It's just impressive nonetheless to see it executed and to see the fans be able to see that in real life. It just hits different when you watch it on a video versus seeing it in real life. Like, it really is, and sometimes you don't realize it and you don't truly feel the shift until you experience it for yourself. So that's really cool, and it was such a joy to be able to take a look at 17 after a couple months. Woo woo! Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. If you want to see me dive into so many more of 17's dance analysis, I have them all on Patreon ready to binge. I think at this point there's around like 75 or so, and only around probably 10 or less are made available on YouTube at this time, because 17 was the first marathon I ever did where I looked from their debut all the way until their most recent work. I think for the marathon, their most recent work at that time was God of Music, but I watched that one first. But Songgong, so Super was their last like really big comeback that I had experienced in that marathon. If that kind of tells you the scope of what all is encompassed in it. And so for every comeback that they have, like in this case, I accidentally skipped this one. For every comeback, I release a certain number of 17 reactions. So because this is a Japanese release, I'm releasing 2 Japanese tracks of older analysis. So I'm very excited for the opportunity to get in discussions on YouTube for that. But if you don't want to wait and you want to watch all of my perspective and not have to wait a year or so for all of them to be made available because of 17's the one that influences how many get released, I mean, I'm all here for it, and I'll be part of the party either way. Once again, I am Jess. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye!